As one of Atlanta's top premier landscaping and tree removal companies, Lawn Slayers has been providing landscaping and tree removal services since 2017. We are a comprehensive landscaping company specializing in lot clearing and lawn maintenance for residential and commercial properties undergoing any land transformation. Diversification and experience allows Lawn Slayers to conveniently offer, but not limited to, landscaping and tree removal services including grading, stump grinding, drainage systems, small retaining walls, pavers, mulch installation, flower beds, and overall lawn maintenance for all seasons. Our office is conveniently located in Stockbridge, Georgia, just 16 miles southeast of Atlanta. Customers are always captivated by our professionalism, efficiency, and attention to detail. Call Lawn Slayers today to schedule your quality land transformation.
According to the national statistics on domestic violence, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men are physically, mentally, or emotionally abused. The women that you will meet today are part of these statistics. Believe it or not, there are more people being abused physically than there are in rapes and muggings combined. Our women, our men must be protected daily. You're going to meet these awesome survivors, and we're going to begin today by interviewing Nikki.
My name is Nikki, I'm 41 and I'm from Columbus, Georgia. It was February '99, it was the night of the Super Bowl. We had just left our friends' home and we were in for the night. And my ex-husband had been drinking, and I had taken a picture of myself out of his glove compartment, and I don't know why, because he did not see me do it. He just noticed that they were gone and asked me, did I take them? I said, yes, I don't want anybody to see those pictures. And he lifted me up by my neck on the wall, and with his other hand he began to punch me in my stomach and yell at me. When I dropped to the floor, I didn't know what to do. I just cried. That was the first time, and I guess I was in shock. I was miles and miles away from any family. I knew no one where I was, and I grabbed my purse and the keys, and I began to walk toward the door, and he met me at the door and he asked me, where are you going? You don't know anybody here. You don't have any friends. And he told me, he said, take your ass in the room and go watch some cartoons. You ain't leaving the house. And me being scared out of my mind, I went and crawled in my bed in the fetal position and cried myself to sleep that night. I did not tell my family, but I told my best friend at the time. She cried, I cried. It was kind of hard. I was on an island away from everybody, so we were young. No one had money to buy a plane ticket to send me back. I just gotten there, so I didn't have a job to purchase a ticket back to the mainland myself. I got the courage to leave my situation when I had a child. I did not want my child to experience any of what I had experienced. I didn't come from that, and I definitely didn't want her to experience something that was not even normal for me. So for my sanity and for the safety of my child, I left when she was 2 years old. I have thought about going back, and I actually did halfway allow him back into my life. Although he was not physically abusive, the emotional abuse was still there, and I realized that he really hadn't changed, because if he can still be verbally abusive and emotionally abusive to me, then it would just be a matter of time before he decided to raise a hand. Since I left, I feel like it was the absolute best decision that I could have made. I've gone through a lot of counseling and therapy to understand and realize that it was not at all my fault. There was nothing that I did that warranted me to be hit on at all. And it took a while for me to believe that maybe I, should have gotten up extra early and fixed this with breakfast, or do that for dinner, or maybe I should have just found out what was hurting him, or try to talk to him. But I'm not a counselor, and so I feel like I did the best thing was to leave that situation and heal myself, because that's who I'm responsible for, myself and my child.
The presence of a gun in a domestic violence relationship increases the chance of homicide by 500%.
19% of domestic violence involves a weapon.
Hi, my name is Alicia Tate. I am originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I now live here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am 43 years old, and here's my story. Domestic violence affected me in the way that I make my choices today with myself, my kids, personal and financially. I actually stayed in my domestic violence relationship a little bit over 7 years, I believe. My experience in my domestic violence was a time when me and my husband, I was married to the abuser, was at home. He had stayed out all night long, and I was on my way to church. I had encountered a condom in my car. I turned around to go home to confront him about him staying out late and what I had found in the car. When I got there, he didn't want to talk about it. He was belligerent, refused to explain what I had found in my vehicle. At that point in time, he was in the shower. I was talking through the door. When I opened up the door, he jumped out the shower, told me if I didn't be quiet, leave him alone, it was going to be a problem. At that point in time, I was on the phone talking to my auntie about the situation that had just came about, which was me finding the condom in the car. As I was talking to my auntie on the phone, he hit me because I was telling my auntie what was happening. When he hit me, I hit him back. At that time, we got into a fight. It lasted for about a couple of hours, maybe about 5 hours. It ended up with me being dragged outside. I was trying to escape, didn't want to be there anymore. At that time, I had 2 kids. My kids were 2 and 1 at the time, 2 boys. Me trying to leave, didn't want to be with him anymore, just got tired of fighting, going back and forth. We done kicked in doors, we done broke everything in the apartment that we could break against each other. I finally made it outside. He did catch up with me outside, drugged me from my feet back into the apartment. At that time, I had 2 black eyes coming from him, and he had to go to work. He had to be to work about 11 o'clock. That's what stopped it. At that time, I was out of it, didn't know what to do. I just knew that this was not going to be my life. I didn't want no more of it, none of it. Wanted to get out alive. So when he left, he thought he had took my cell phone, took my bank card, took my keys. At that time, the company that I was working for, I had extra phones in the house. I called my friend once I changed over my SIM cards, told him to come get me and my kids. I was tired, didn't want to go through this anymore, and I wanted to leave. I can raise my kids alone. I just wanted to take it into another level. I didn't want to be there anymore. When he came and got me, I got the kids, took the kids to his job. He dropped me off on a corner in front of a Publix. I sat in front of that Publix looking like a homeless person for maybe 3-4 hours. I didn't know what to do. I think I just had a nervous breakdown. Later on that night, I came up with a plan on how I was going to get this man out of my life. And what was going to happen is that I wasn't going to go to jail for it, because it was either his life or mine. So my decision to get out, I decided to go home, get myself together, and call the police and get him out of there, because he had a warrant in Alabama for him. So I knew to use that to get the police to come get him away from me. When I got back home, he was there, had them cleaned up everything, and I told him he had to leave. He refused to leave, and I told him if he don't leave, I'm gonna call the police. He got up out the bed. I went into my kitchen. I boiled me some water. I got the water and dashed it on him. He got up and said, "Bitch, I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna bleed today." And when he did that, I ran out with a t-shirt and socks on. When I came back, I had the Cobb County police with me. When they came back, they threw him up against the wall. They looked at me, looked at him, and they said, "What is the problem?" He said, "Sir, we're just talking." The police said, "Sir, she don't look like y'all just talking. She had bruises all over her face." Turn around, cuff up, ran his name through, had a warrant. That was the end of him. It was just awful. Stayed only because of the kids. Do I regret it? Yeah, I do, because it's something I didn't want my children to go through. But am I thankful that I made it alive? I am, because it made me the stronger person that I am today. Have I ever thought about going back to my husband? No, not at all. Wouldn't even dream about it, wouldn't even think about it. Do we still have a cordial relationship because of my son? Yes. Do it comes up in a conversation all the time, but I know I am not that woman to ever look back at nothing like that. That is nothing to me besides just what we call him, a baby daddy. So people ask me all the time about domestic violence, and as I give my story, I also give them part of my mother's story, who was in domestic violence as well, because it plays a key role into the decisions as adults, how we portray ourselves to our kids. As I was telling my story, I left out a very important piece as to why I made the decision to walk away from my story. My mother killed my father when I was only 3 years old because of domestic abuse. So at the decision when I made, I didn't want to go to jail, or I didn't want to kill anybody. So I made a decision to get out with health, and he can have his and I can have mine, along with the freedom. So the decision was made to love me before anything else could happen, because I've already seen that and went down that road with my mother.
According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 out of 4 women, 1 out of 7 men will incur some form of violence in their intimate partner relationships.
Intimate partner violence accounts for 15% of all violence.
My name is Annette Hart. I am 58 years old, and I'm from Douglasville, Georgia. I've had some experiences with my domestic violence over the last 40 years of my life. I'm in my 3rd relationship, and I have really dealt with some things that I have not, shouldn't have, and just knowing that it's not right, I should have been walked away. So I am on my way now. It's taking a first step to get away from the mental abuse, and I've walked away from physical abuse, and I know that we are better than that. I've been in my current relationship for 20 years, and I thought things were going to get better, and it seems like it never does. My mom knows that I'm going through some things mentally. I've had different ones tell me that it's time to go, and I know it's time to go, but it's just me that's got to make that first move. They've never told me to leave, but they don't want me to be battered and misused by anyone as well, because that's not who I am, and I know that's not who I'm supposed to be, and it's not my purpose in life is to be used or misused or walked on by no one. I believe that it's been my financial reasons that I had thought that would keep me where I couldn't afford to do things, but then I have to think about it, It's not the financial part, it's the mental part of it, and I don't want to get myself bogged down with I can't make it when I know that I can make it, because all things are possible. My plans are to concentrate more on myself and to make sure that I live the dreams that I have been longing for all my life, and not let nobody tell me that I can't do things, that I can.
On an average day, more than 20,000 phone calls are placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide.
Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by intimate partners.
My name is Nia Joy Williams. I'm 32 years old and I'm from Queens, New York. I had an ex-boyfriend that was very verbally, physically, and mentally abusive. He used to call me out of my name a lot, put his hands on me, push me, shove me, and pretty much belittle me and make me feel less than a person, less than a woman. And that led to me having really deep-rooted self-esteem issues, and it kind of scarred me for a lot of years, and I'm just now getting to the place where I'm comfortable to speak about it. Want children with him at one point, but once I realized that he was abusive, I guess God had a different plan because I was pregnant, but I had a terrible miscarriage due to the amount of stress that I was under while being pregnant. One experience I had with domestic violence was I was pushed down a flight of steps. I actually had my feet taken from under me in midair, and I landed on my hip, and actually to this day, there's a very sensitive area on my hip, and when people go to touch me, I kind of flinch because I have like a natural reaction from that. What made me get out of my relationship was when I lost my job due to the late hours that I was coming into work, and my boss observed a couple things and told me I was a liability because they thought that I was being abused at home because I had marks on me. So I was let go of my job, and that was the final straw for me. At the time, I was extremely embarrassed, so I didn't mention it. I mentioned that there were a couple things going on that that made me uncomfortable, but I didn't go into detail because I was way too embarrassed and I had a lot of pride. I did think about going back to the relationship at one point, but just recently my ex-boyfriend reached out to me, and it reminded me of why I left him initially. He's not changed. He's still very verbally abusive. He's still unaware of the impact that he's had on me, and I don't think I could ever go back to him or any kind of abusive relationship for that matter.
I am here today because I survived.
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 We are here today because we survived domestic violence. 1 in 7 women, 1 in 18 men have been stalked by an intimate partner. They have feared leaving due to the harm to themselves or to their family. Remember, you can escape. I used to be one of those women. I survived a domestic violence relationship. Please feel free to call 1-800-799-SAFE if you feel there is no way out or if you need help on getting out. Remember, we are in this together. Again, the number is 1-800-799-SAFE.
The MLT Network is here to help you have a continuous success process for your personal development and your business model needs. The MLT Network provides success in its fee-based consulting, network, and business education, training, and technology. MLT offers a free 30-minute planning and coaching session. Contact Kevin Vaughn at 404-401-0233. Email menletstalk@gmail.com or website mltnetworks.net. Thank you so much for your time.